If you're looking for an awesome product at a great price, be sure to check out the link in the description. Hamas has doubled down on its refusal to disarm, issuing an unwavering condition for laying down arms, the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. This declaration comes on the heels of the release of a second video depicting Israeli hostage Eviatar David, further escalating the already fraught situation. The chilling footage shows David, emaciated and visibly weakened, digging what he describes as his own grave, a stark visual representation of the dire circumstances facing the hostages. This second video, released just 2 days after the first, underscores Hamas's resolute stance and its use of hostages as leverage in the ongoing conflict. The group, firmly entrenched in Gaza since 2007, insists its right to armed resistance remains non-negotiable until a sovereign Palestinian state, with Jerusalem as its capital, becomes a reality. This defiant position directly contradicts one of Israel's key demands for ending the hostilities, highlighting the deep chasm between the two sides. Recent indirect negotiations aimed at achieving a 60-day ceasefire and securing the release of hostages concluded last week without a breakthrough, leaving the path to resolution shrouded in uncertainty. The desperate situation in Gaza, exacerbated by Israeli restrictions on the entry of goods and aid, is fueling international calls for immediate action. Severe shortages of food and essential supplies have led to a humanitarian crisis, with UN-backed experts warning that the worst-case scenario of famine is unfolding. Hamas has strategically woven this dire reality into its hostage videos, highlighting the hostages' shared plight with their captors and emphasizing the rapidly dwindling time for a negotiated settlement. The family of Eviatar David, in a poignant appeal, has demanded that the aid now trickling into Gaza through renewed UN convoys and foreign airdrops reach their son, emphasizing his precarious condition and that of other captives. "They are on the absolute brink of death," declared Ali David, Eviatar's brother, at a rally in Tel Aviv where thousands gathered, holding posters of the hostages and chanting for their immediate release, their desperation palpable amidst a sea of Israeli flags. Of the 251 hostages initially seized during the Hamas attack, 49 remain in Gaza, a grim statistic further complicated by the Israeli military's claim that 27 are deceased. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's Middle East envoy, navigating the complex political landscape, has assured the families of the hostages that he's actively collaborating with the Israeli government on a plan to effectively bring an end to the conflict. His involvement underscores the global concern and the urgent need for a resolution. Steve Witkoff, arriving in Israel amid international condemnation of the devastation in Gaza and the widespread starvation affecting its 2 million inhabitants, met with Prime Minister Netanyahu on Thursday before visiting an aid distribution site run by the Israel and US-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF. The GHF's operations have not been without incident, however. Global outrage has mounted over Israel's restrictions on aid and the deadly violence surrounding these distribution sites, with daily reports of shootings at all 4 locations since the GHF assumed control of aid distribution at the end of May. The UN reports a staggering toll, 859 Palestinians killed in the vicinity of these sites, and over 500 more along the routes of food convoys. The escalating violence continues unabated, with hospitals in Gaza reporting that Israeli fire claimed the lives of more than a dozen people on Saturday alone, 8 of whom perished while attempting to secure food. This grim reality paints a picture of widespread suffering and underscores the urgency of the humanitarian crisis. Israel, however, attributes the suffering in Gaza to Hamas, asserting that it is actively working to facilitate greater aid delivery, including temporary pauses in fighting, airdrops, and the establishment of protected routes for aid convoys. Yet, UN agencies contend that airdrops are insufficient and that a significantly greater influx of aid via land routes is crucial, coupled with immediate improvements in access. The severity of the situation is further underscored by the reported deaths of 7 Palestinians, including a child, from malnutrition-related causes in the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of child deaths from malnutrition in Gaza since the war began to 93. The escalating crisis has prompted international condemnation, with Germany, a traditionally strong ally of Israel, joining the chorus of voices urging Israel to significantly increase aid delivery, describing the current level as very insufficient. France's foreign minister echoed these sentiments, demanding a massive increase in humanitarian aid while simultaneously condemning the despicable videos released by Hamas. The international community watches with bated breath as the fate of the hostages, the escalating humanitarian crisis,